In the 2000s, one cable show will transform pop music.
MTV came up with TRL, Total Request Live.
Let's take a look at the totals for the #2 video in the country.
TRL gives everyone with a TV and a phone the power to help decide which music videos get played.
It changed the music business because how you break records is to get on TRL.
Fans begin mobbing the show's New York City studio.
We shut down Times Square. It was chaos.
You're watching people just lose their shit.
And that leads some to lose their minds.
There was a company that was rigging the game. It was cheating, actually.
I started getting fan mail about my feet.
That's not what I signed up for.
TRL just produced this whole giant pop monster.
Sometimes when you fly too close to the sun, you get burned.
Before the world was an internet search away, Total Request Live becomes the place to see
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Backstreet Boys.
and sometimes touch emerging stars of pop music.
NSYNC, 98 Degrees, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Eminem.
Hi, my name is...
It was everything for everybody. Definite destination programming.
All right, let's get right to #7.
Starting out as a simple pre-recorded countdown show on MTV, TRL becomes must-see TV for the millennial generation. On TRL, the audience decides what music gets played.
Hi, I'm Mavis from New York, and I want everyone to vote for...
And that empowers teens to express their opinions years before social media.
It was Twitter before Twitter. It was the internet before the internet.
We didn't have that, so talking like the old guy up in my rocking chair saying, back in my day, we had TRL.
But TRL's rocket ship ride to pop culture dominance is born out of MTV losing altitude as the 90s come to an end.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
MTV first found success in the 1980s.
I want my MTV.
I want my MTV.
By simply playing videos all day and night.
I want my MTV.
But in the early 90s,
It's off the friggin' wall. Let's hear it for Big Red.
MTV realizes it needs to change up its content to keep viewers interested. Hi, my name is Amanda Ann Klein, and I am the author of Millennials Killed the Video Star, MTV's transition to reality television.
Welcome back to the Headbangers Ball. Ricky Rackman here.
So you start to have this programming that viewers can depend on. So when you come home from school, you can watch Club MTV. If you stay up really late, you can watch Headbangers Ball.
This reinvention of MTV in the early 90s works. MTV is cool again.
Chris and Kurt from the band Nirvana are here.
MTV at the time was the place to be for music. It was where all the cream rise to the top. If you were on MTV, you made it. That was basically what it signified to be on MTV. You made it.
This is a television show.
I'm Caduce, and in the 2000s, I was hosting Total Request Live and partying way more than any human should. Fans were so excited about the types of scenes that MTV would set, like the beach house and spring break. MTV became known for being the party that everybody wanted to be at.
But keeping that party going proves difficult.
MTV is always having to reconfigure what it's doing to appear cutting edge, to appear hip.
And by the mid-90s, the newest generation of teen viewers stops buying what MTV is selling.
The content that made Gen X happy, that was no longer cutting it for millennials. Ratings start to decline, and MTV is trying to find its edge again.
Don't go away.
We'll be right back.
MTV's second attempt at rebranding begins with a flashy new home in New York City. In 1997, MTV takes over a vacant bank on the second floor of 1515 Broadway and transforms it into a glass-fronted TV studio. It's the window into a new MTV.
The idea behind the glass studio was if we had a home right in the middle of the best, most well-known front yard in the world, which was Times Square, how could people not know about us, come to see us, and pay attention to us? I'm Bob Cusbett. I was the head of production at MTV and created TRL. I was told 3 weeks after I was hired, look, you gotta fire all the VJs, except Bill Bellamy and Kennedy, I think, and you gotta hire new people to actually launch the programming in that studio.
In the summer of '97, one of those new hires is 24-year-old disc jockey Carson Daly.
Afternoon, Carson Daly joined by the band Real Big Fish here in Motel, California. Guys, everything going well for you?
Carson was a DJ at K-Rock in Los Angeles. So he was hired as a summer VJ. What we were looking for at the time were people who knew music, loved music, and were gonna be great music ambassadors to the audience. Carson was that. He might not have looked edgy, he might not have looked like a rock star, but he knew the music in and out.
Hi, my name is Carson Daly. I am the, is it official? I'm the official host of the show, MTV Live.
TRL actually started as a show called MTV Live. I'm Robin Reinhardt, and in the 2000s, I was the celebrity talent booker on TRL.
Come on right over here, Ski. Say hello to Halle Berry, who's hanging out here. Hi, Halle. How are you?
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to
Thank you. Thank you. We got the one-man audience going.
Didn't have an audience. It was just live in our studio in Times Square.
It was just a talk show, basically.
But I don't know if I'm better than Ezra or less than Jake at this point.
Let's move on.
Yes, thank
And
you.
it didn't rate great. It wasn't like people flocked to it.
Carson, Bill Bellamy here with Mariah Carey. We just saw you doing a little Christmas thing going.
Yeah.
We spent a good year trying to figure out what should the show be inside that studio.
As MTV Live struggles to find its identity in New York, their salvation is waiting to be discovered 1,000 miles south in Orlando.
At the time, Orlando didn't have a reputation. Like it was Disney World. So I'm Chris Kirkpatrick. I was the founding member of the band NSYNC. In the mid to late 90s, Orlando became the hub of pop music.
Me and Jess were wondering how you guys got the name for your band, Escape.
Yeah.
In the 90s, the casting of Disney's new Mickey Mouse Club lures many up-and-coming performers to Orlando.
And a lot of those bubblegum pop artists come out of the new Mickey Mouse Club. There was Britney and there was Justin Timberlake.
And there was someone who saw an opportunity to cash in. Florida-based businessman Lou Pearlman starts engineering pop acts to appeal to teen girls.
Right? It's called the Backstreet Boys.
He starts with the Backstreet Boys.
Welcome, NSYNC.
Then signs the recently assembled NSYNC. By mid-decade, he's churning out boy bands.
Once Backstreet went through and we went through, that's what later created O-Town, Take 5, LFO. So what Seattle was for grunge, Orlando was for pop music.
But grunge is still king, so Pearlman ships his new Princes of Pop off to Europe to prove there's an audience for their upbeat song and dance.
Pop was blowing up over there, and that's the first time we'd even heard the word boy band or anything like that, because there were tons of them over there. I mean, there were a lot from the UK coming in. There were a lot of German boy bands. It's now cool to be in pop music.
Not just cool, in Europe, bands like NSYNC become household names.
I'm Chris, and I'm 25.
While kids in the US have still never heard of them.
About a year into us being a band, we were doing shows in front of 800 to 1,000 kids a night. I mean, we'd had like 5, sometimes 6, 7 security guards just for the 5 of us to move us through crowds of kids. It was so different. It was such another world.
But these worlds will soon collide. In 1997, boy band mania takes over the US.
Grunge music was on its way out, and at exactly the same time, pop music was on its way in.
And MTV discovers what will drive its next great reinvention.
We had a weekly meeting where the music department would show us new music videos were coming out. When MMMBop came out, everybody, I don't care if it was the youngest people or the grizzled veterans who had been through every version of rock music that had been on MTV, everybody started like tapping along and laughed and enjoyed it. And it was Backstreet, then it was NSYNC, and then it was Britney, and then it was 98 Degrees, and then it was Christina Aguilera.
Suddenly they realized, hey, there's something here, and they had to find a way to create something that played to pop music.
Can we make a little noise here? I'm just feeling a little tense.
MTV retools the struggling MTV Live by adding a pop music countdown voted on by viewers.
Strange things are happening in Times Square. Surprising things, big things, music things. MTV
Then rebrands it as Total Request Live, a show devoted to revealing the nation's top music videos each afternoon from MTV's Times Square studio.
And, you know, in the beginning, it was just like, what is this?
Hi, Misha. Where are you calling from?
From Long Island, New York.
Oh, you're a New Yorker. All
I
right.
can't believe I'm talking to Carson Daly.
Why does that surprise everybody? I am the host of the show, I think.
In the beginning, we didn't know if we were going to have anybody interested in voting at all. So it was really, you know, some PA on a phone probably that was deciding the fate of the TRL countdown.
Let's take a look at the totals for the number 2 video.
You'll notice that most of the votes were tallied in percentages back then.
Number 2 today from the Backstreet Boys.
So you would say Backstreet Boys got 30% of the vote. We did that because they might have gotten 3 votes out of 10 that we got that day in the early stages, right? Sounds a lot more impressive to say 30% than saying you got 3 votes.
That's out in Los Angeles, and right now we're gonna go to...
It was just Carson with no fanfare, and it was just him introducing these top 10 videos.
Vote, go nuts, come home from school, watch, that's how it works.
It was a very simple format. We didn't have a studio audience.
Video, you have to tell us...
That'll change when MTV discovers broadcasting TRL live from a studio in Times Square literally brings an audience to the show.
Suddenly there's a guy outside with a sign that says, "Carson, bring me up." Okay, Carson, talk in his ear, bring him up. Carson brings the guy up, talks to him, that was fun. Next day, might be a couple of people with signs. Next week, there's 30 people.
Millennials had grown up being recorded by their parents, being told that everything they did was interesting and great. And as a result of that, they felt really comfortable being on camera. They also felt that they were interesting enough to be on camera.
As the crowds grow in Times Square, MTV selects the most die-hard fans to become an in-studio audience.
It's not just that they get to pick the videos, but they are part of the show. They're a big part of the show.
It's a chance to be on TV and get up close and personal with their pop music idols.
Very nice.
Kids can't get enough.
The crowds outside have grown, probably just to catch a glimpse of my next guest.
When Backstreet came, 5,000 kids were in Times Square.
TRL supercharges fandom to levels not seen since Elvis and the Beatles.
It was chaos. Between 2:30 and 4:30, you did not want to leave the building because it was just, you couldn't get down the sidewalk.
Like, it's just pure insanity. You're watching people just lose their shit.
And it's about to get a whole lot crazier. At the turn of the millennium, America's teens have become obsessed with TRL.
It's just you and me today.
There was no internet, no other source to find the top 10 videos that day. Is Backstreet Boys still #1? Is NSYNC taking over? Like, I have to know.
Over 850,000 kids tune in each day to find out.
Cowboy on TRL.
With hundreds more making the pilgrimage to Times Square to gawk at celebrities through the studio's enormous windows.
What are you gonna do? The fine folks at the New York Police Department have asked us to shut the shades down here.
And that became a regular thing where we had to look at the crowds, talk to the police, and if they gave us the high sign, we had to start lowering the blinds because the crowds were getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
The kids were spilling out into the street. It's Broadway, it's New York, people are driving home. It's chaos. So for the safety of everybody, we have to shut the shades.
Then MTV further ramps up the Times Square TRL fans.
Now, everybody here auditioned, I believe.
By offering one of them a chance to become an even bigger part of the show.
If you're confused, we have a new show called VJ for a Day that's going to start next Tuesday.
We were having a contest called VJ for a Day. We're going to bring somebody up from the street and let them be a VJ for that day. What we tried to do was take people who looked and felt like our audience and put them on air, because I think it made the audience more comfortable.
Please welcome to our stage, I was mentioning one of these lucky people is going to pick up the coolest prize. It's Kenya, Dave, and Hillary to TRL.
The three finalists have to ask Carson some provocative questions.
If you found out you were adopted, what artist would you hope was your real parent?
My questions were significantly better than the other kids' questions. I don't want to brag about it, but I was funny. I am Hillary Burton Morgan, and in the year 2000, I became an MTV VJ.
Hillary, the little country girl, is going to win. Tomorrow night, of course, is the Video Music Awards. And you'll be working every celebrity.
And my prize was to do the red carpet interviews at the VMAs, like, the next day.
You're the girl that won the contest.
Oh my God, you know who I am?
So famous now.
I know.
Everyone's talking about this.
You guys know who I am. I'm freaking out.
And she was great. She was a natural.
When we get back, your top 2 requests. We have
VJ for a day launches a career.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Hillary Burton, Queen of Balance here.
Hillary also lands a second MTV gig, hosting her own alternative music show, Beat Seekers.
Let's go down to Hillary now and check in on the meet. Hillary, everything all right?
Yeah, we're choking on a little bit of smoke out here. Everything's...
Between that and TRL, Hillary proves adept at reining in the madness of Times Square.
Filming in Times Square was like juggling knives. Every once in a while, you'd catch a blade and you had to act like it didn't hurt because you were live on TV.
All right, don't move.
It's either taxi drivers getting in fistfights or the naked cowboy crashing your shot.
Does this guy talk or does he just hang out? No, he just
Or fans who are a little unhinged showing up and getting too excited. We oftentimes would have to talk people off a ledge because they knew that our show was their one opportunity to meet this person, and if they could just meet, they'd get married and have babies and have a happy ending. And I was the thing standing in the way of that. I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's mental health. That's not what I signed up for, and that's not in the VJ handbook.
Party out here in New York City.
Sometimes they would reach out and grab my jacket if I was walking up the stairs with Britney Spears to introduce her. Sometimes it felt like it was gonna knock down every barricade and get into a bit of a weird Woodstock vibe, but in the middle of New York City.
For MTV, overzealous fans are the price of doing business. The show's phenomenal success is tied to their participation.
Let's talk about what really makes TRL tick. It's fans.
TRL empowers its young audience to decide the fate of musicians and the profits of record companies by picking which songs get airplay.
It wasn't, executives or billionaires. It was teenagers. And they held all that power and control.
Particularly in a society that doesn't really listen to what kids have to say and definitely doesn't listen to what young girls have to say. TRL gave them that opportunity to decide what the dominant form of music was for that particular moment.
Sorry, we got to get to #1 video. Backstreet Boys, 17 straight days. How long is it going to take before you guys replace them?
Whoa, you can't ask us again.
And in TRL's first 2 years, fans award 80% of all daily #1s to only 3 bands.
Countdown.
NSYNC, 98 Degrees, and the Backstreet Boys. The remaining spots go to pop princesses.
And that is really where you see the shift to this mega stardom for groups like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
And it just started this giant snowball of fame. I mean, it was almost overnight that we started doing things like The Tonight Show. These huge shows started calling us because if MTV and everybody's voting on these videos, they're like, man, something is to this.
Well, TRL made us, really, They made us who we are. That's the facts, Hopefully a lot of artists realize how influential TRL really is to their careers.
They do. It's a material world, and established artists see TRL as a way to reach the kids buying their records.
The fans have been outside since like 5 o'clock this morning.
We knew we had made it when Madonna called us and said she wanted to be on TRL.
They're a bunch of wild animals, Madonna.
Am I on?
It became this rite of passage that if you were a musician, you wanted to sell records, you needed to be on TRL.
I remember bumping into Prince at a club. He was having a meeting with Monty Littman, who was the head of Universal at the time, and Prince recognized me from TRL and asked the security guards to actually usher me into where they were sitting. And then he started to point to me as a way of drawing attention to how he wasn't on TRL. I'm blown away that Prince even knows who the hell I am. But clearly he's actually watching TRL and is being affected by how other artists are on the countdown and yet him not being on the countdown. And I'm like, bro, you're Prince.
What an honor to have here on our Little Dog and Pony show. Please welcome the artist, everybody.
If you were on the countdown, your record sales rose.
This show kind of blew me up.
It made you a rich man.
Made me a rich man. Yes, it did. Thank you.
It could make or break careers.
And this drives record companies to do what they can to manipulate the voting process.
There was a system within the music industry that was cutthroat, that was by any means necessary, we're gonna promote our artists to get on the countdown.
Record companies began actively encouraging fans of their recording artists to vote early and often.
It was, do you love Limp Bizkit? Well, do you want Limp Bizkit to be the #1 video? Here's what you do, fans. If you vote a certain amount of times, you're gonna get a Limp Bizkit t-shirt, or maybe you'll be entered in a contest to win, to meet Fred Durst. I don't know why anyone would want that, but that was a big thing, that people really loved Limp Bizkit.
MTV fights back by trying to better secure the voting process.
There were more computers, more phones, and smarter people figuring out how those votes were happening.
But the network underestimates how far record companies will go to game the system.
There was a company that was actually hired by record labels to call into TRL to get their artists on, flooding our inbox with requests for these certain artists. So it was like bots before bots were a thing. It was rigging the game. It was cheating, actually.
As TRL's power to make or break careers grows, so does the pressure on performers to make their appearances totally unforgettable, no matter what it takes.
Mariah Carey is stripping on TRL right now.
Val, we're on TRL.
Hey, check out the view.
By 2001, Total Request Live is no longer just reporting on pop culture. It has become a part of pop culture.
The show?
Oh my God, it's Carson.
Oh my God, it's Melody.
You could reference it, people made jokes about it.
So I can sit next to Carson Daly.
Eminem talks about Carson Daly in one of his songs, you know. It is this fixture.
Sierra, welcome to Cisco. It was nice enough.
And anyone who wants to be someone is stopping by the studio on the regular.
We were the audience that everybody wanted to address, and so TRL became one of the major PR stops in New York.
All sorts of other public figures were coming by and getting airtime.
You did the Today Show, you did TRL, and you did Letterman, you know, or Conan, or whatever late night you were doing. I mean, who doesn't want an audience screaming at you in adoration?
Are they clean?
Yes.
Yeah, she kissed the foot. Here you go.
Celebrities were very interactive with the fans. They high-fived them, they took pictures with them.
I want you guys to turn around
And at the center of this pop culture circus is its ringleader, Carson Daly.
Carson was a great traffic cop, and you need to do that in live television. He handled every curveball we ever threw at him.
There you go. She's primed for live television, apparently.
Carson also had this skill where he could talk to the kid off the street the exact same way he talked to Madonna or another star.
And that was really his gift, is that he made every person who he was talking to feel like they were the center of attention.
He listened.
Hey, what's up? Carson Daly here at a Pizza Hut parking lot talking free CDs.
Hey, look, it's Carson Daly.
I think that Carson definitely didn't necessarily get in the game to be a celebrity himself, but he became one because of how popular Total Request Live was. I remember when I first started at MTV, I went out to this party at the House of Blues, and so it was a bit of a who's who of what was happening in Hollywood at the time. I think Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit was at the table next to Carson Daly, and next to Carson Daly's table was Snoop Dogg, and I think Justin Timberlake might have been there too. So I didn't have to take any drugs to be high on that situation.
He starts dating celebrities, so he had a very famous relationship with Jennifer Love Hewitt, who was such a big deal at that time. He then dates Tara Reid, who was also a very big teen star at the time. And he becomes a topic of conversation in the tabloids.
After a short engagement, the couple splits, and with the press attention, Carson swears off public relationships for good. And it's not just Carson struggling with fame. All of the show's VJs begin drawing attention, for better or worse.
Now, as Carson mentioned earlier today, at 5 p.m.
There's ages of like 18, 19 years old, or when you're sorting yourself out, and to have to do that in front of like 2 to 4 million kids every day is dumb. That's like a dumb thing to do. Okay, just go be an icon now. Go be a pop culture icon. I struggled with it. It's an intimidating thing to be thrown into.
Celebrity, it's a very double-edged sword. Essentially, it's like you're signing up for everyone feeling entitled to have photos with you, have moments with you, no matter what you prefer for the rest of your life in some ways.
Welcome to the show. I'm Hillary. I'm hosting for the first time today. A little bit nervous. Y'all
I started getting fan mail about my feet. There was a guy who would start writing letters and he would ask for an autograph. It was like, oh my God, like, of course. And then you'd continue to get more letters, but he would start making demands like, wear open-toed shoes, paint your toenails red, pump your left foot up and down 3 times so I know that you're like crazy shit. And then it was like, I'm gonna cut them off. And it was like, the internet was brand new, so it's not like you could Google this dude and find out what he looked like.
Very nice. All right, well, before the break.
And so you'd be outside in Times Square, not knowing if your pen pal is like in the crowd. And there were a couple of them. So yeah, that was a creepy thing to deal with as a teenager.
The live nature of the show means that back in the studio, Carson also has to deal with some uncomfortable situations.
So, of course, Mariah Carey, a big pop star, one of the great divas, she shows up at TRL one day with an ice cream cart.
Hi, Carson. What are you doing here? Hi. How are you? I just thought I'd surprise you.
That wasn't planned. She wasn't supposed to be there. We just heard that she was at our front door, and of course you're gonna let Mariah Carey in to do this. And Mariah went off the rails a little bit.
What are you doing?
She's wearing this t-shirt, which she then takes off to reveal this tight little outfit.
Mariah Carey is stripping on TRL right now.
She gives the shirt to Carson Daly, and you can tell that he is doing his best to make this segment work, but it's kind of nonsense.
What is this you brought? Is this ice cream?
It's an ice cream truck. But these are just some folks on the nice street. Well, we like this.
Mariah Carey's lost her mind. I don't know exactly what's going on here.
A week after her surprising appearance on TRL, Carey is hospitalized for exhaustion. Tabloids claim she's had a complete mental breakdown.
I'm doing very well. There's like people called haters. No, Cindy.
Carey will later admit to having bipolar disorder. When she returns to TRL a few years later, she seems especially careful with how she presents herself, even off camera.
I did have this experience backstage when Mariah came by, and I remember we were all pretty relaxed backstage getting ready for TRL. I remember her seeming like she was on camera, so she had this smile that seemed like she thought we were filming her backstage as we were just preparing for the show. And so I felt the need to tell her, hey, by the way, we're not rolling. We're not filming right now, so you can relax. And she said to me, well, you never know when the camera's gonna be on, though.
She's right to be careful. At TRL, the cameras are almost always rolling.
The minute you walked into the studios, not like on set, but into the studio space, you came through the doors, just expect there to be a camera in your face. Like, cameras were everywhere.
And you can take some calls from people at home. How's it been so far?
Good.
I can tell you every day we did TRL, that would be a very, very tiring day because you had to be on, there was nowhere to go to hide. It was a whole day of being in the spotlight, having 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000 people just looking at you and every little detail. Oh, I'm drinking water. Oh, he's drinking water. It was like, it was so odd that you had to be completely aware the whole time you were at TRL. It never turns off.
But the world outside the Times Square studio is transforming. Millennials' changing tastes will not be kind to TRL.
Feet sounds bad enough. Pig's feet is worse.
And will leave MTV scrambling for yet another reinvention to survive.
There's nowhere to pull stairs.
In September of 2001, the nation is in a state of shock after the terrorist attack just 50 blocks from TRL's Times Square studio.
The decision was made that TRL was going to be there to respond to this and be there for the youth of America.
2 days after the Trade Center collapse, while the city's late-night shows remain dark, TRL goes back on the air.
As you can see, MTV's regular programming is still suspended. I'm Carson Daly. Here in MTV's Times Square studios, a few miles south of where I stand, rescue workers continue to search through what's left of the World Trade Center.
It was a very, toned down show, and we had kids in the audience and callers calling in live just about their experience and what happened, and it was a very emotional show.
I don't want to be too grand about it, but I think what we did during that period was really important and helped a lot of kids through, that really trying time.
But not without some risk to the show's staff and fans.
We knew that because we were live, we were a sitting duck for someone that wanted to do something outrageous. And we'd had so many scares in the city, like anthrax was a really big scare. There was the rumor that it was in the subways and that people were just like tossing it into the wind. And there was like a lot of fear that there were gonna be bombs in trash cans or in mailboxes. And if you looked out our windows at Times Square, it was a field day of opportunity for something to go wrong. And I was always the one that got sent outside. And so I was really, really scared during that period of time, trying really hard not to let anyone know that I was freaked out. I still don't love crowds. And so for that hour a day where you'd be outside and you wouldn't know what was gonna happen post 9/11, that was all some of the best acting I've ever done.
How you doing? What's up, Mom? What's up?
TRL succeeded by combining upbeat pop videos with Carson's loose, friendly, in-studio interaction with celebrities. But after the horrors of 9/11, TRL's audience seemed to want something with a bit more edge, real or manufactured.
I think I have what it takes.
We said no. We said no.
Reality shows like Survivor and The Bachelor, with their contrived confrontations, seem to better meet the new mood of the country.
The early 2000s is really ripe for reality television. You really see it across the channels.
In its drive to stay relevant, MTV gambles on its own celebrity reality show, The Osbournes.
And that was certainly part of this trend of feeling that we have the right to see what celebrities are up to in their daily lives. You really can't overstate the impact that the Osbournes had on pop culture and on programming in general.
More MTV reality shows follow,
Is this chicken what I have, or is this fish?
changing what it means and what it takes to be a celebrity.
I like to roll wearing black. Christine's wearing white.
TRL, to try and hold its audience close, moves away from music.
And we got a hot crowd today, too. No?
Yes, we do.
Oh, of course we do.
adding more celebrity-based games and competitions like you'd see on reality shows.
All right, Jeff, whenever you're ready, let's hear the sound effect. There they go!
And as TRL went on, they definitely tried to change it up and make it more fun.
So we have all the band members' names here. You have to match the correct name with the correct person.
I mean, it was really sad and frustrating, I think, as things changed. I mean, they weren't making money, and I get that. It's and then people complain, MTV doesn't play any music. Well, you don't watch it when we're playing music, so it's like this catch-22.
Towards the end of the show, we basically would come into a music video and then out within 30 seconds sometimes and play probably as little of the music video as possible because we figured that people wanted more of the interviews, more of the games that we were playing.
You and I are gonna play Pin the Tail on Donkey. I'm playing. Let's see, there she goes.
The powers that be were slowly realizing that it didn't matter how big the celebrity was if there wasn't something more to engage the fans.
Meanwhile, popular music tastes are evolving.
That crazy high of pop music is, starting to decline. NSYNC breaks up.
Took a hiatus. We never broke up, by the way. We just took a break. It was like, hey, why don't we take a break from the band and everybody kind of go off and do your thing.
For the artist, these changes proved jarring.
I was lost. Here we were for years and years and years and years of my life, waking up every morning with a schedule underneath my door where I had to be from 6 a.m. until 2 o'clock in the morning. And now, I wake up and I'm looking at my door and no schedule's coming through. So I'm like, ooh, so what do I do today? It was really tough on me personally, but then you grow and adapt and you learn and you go, okay, well, maybe I was a little spoiled there for a while and I gotta grow up and live my life now.
Carson Daly is also ready to adapt and move on from TRL.
I think I recall him just seeming like he had been there and done that a little bit. That was the vibe I was getting. He just started to seem like he was not necessarily too stoked to be there.
Carson was in this really difficult position because he was a young man in his mid-20s. He's trying to date. He's trying to be cool. Everyone wants to be cool in their 20s.
Are you ready, LFO? Here we go. Yeah.
And he's having to do some extremely uncool things for work. And it's making him really rich, and it's making him really powerful, and it's a great career, but it also is kind of like, wah, wah. I think he was ready to do more.
In 2002, Carson lands a late-night hosting gig on NBC. He tries splitting his time between both shows, but the following year, Carson quits TRL.
And when he left TRL, it was very clear that I was not going to fill his shoes. I wasn't a radio DJ. I didn't give a about most of the artists on our show. They were not my bag. So it was important that we filled that void with people who were knowledgeable.
So they ended up kind of bringing in a bunch of different hosts.
Welcome to the show.
So tomorrow, like I said, Alicia Keys is gonna be here. It is day 3 of Spanking New Music Week.
There was Vanessa, there was Lala, there was Hillary, there was Damien, there was me, there was Susie Castillo, and so we all collectively replaced Carson Daly.
It turns out less might have been more. The rotating hosts don't revive the show's popularity.
It just never landed the way Carson did.
Carson was TRL. And so I think we had a nice second chapter, but I don't know that it ever really recaptured the magic of the Carson years.
By mid-decade, TRL's ratings have dropped 50%.
This is called user-generated content.
And a technological breakthrough is about to put TRL down for the count.
Why should I buy music? Why should I pay for music? It's all available for free.
In the early 2000s, technology changes the music biz.
Vindicated.
I look at downloadable distribution and file sharing as the new radio.
Music sharing software, MP3 players, and social media sites like MySpace and YouTube start giving kids more places to go for their pop culture fix.
If you actually want to watch a music video, you can go online anytime you want. It's this on-demand culture that we now have.
TRL simply can't compete.
They didn't have to be there to watch Backstreet, NSYNC, Britney, Korn, Kid Rock at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They could watch it at any time. And I think that is the main thing that started the decline of TRL.
Miss Britney Spears, here she is at #1 on TRL with my Miss.
TRL isn't just losing viewers. In 2003, the one-time VJ for a Day lands a lead role on the WB's One Tree Hill.
Well, sucks to be you.
For 2 years, Hillary tries juggling both gigs before deciding to leave TRL.
I started calling in sick towards the end of that second year, and I was just like, guys, haven't slept in a very long time. I think I'm having a mental breakdown, and I ended my tenure as a VJ.
A year later, Caduce also says goodbye to MTV.
I came in the door for music television. It became something very different. Over time, I just got less and less interested in that whole scene.
New video from Cassidy and Swiss Beats in a little bit.
TRL tries to evolve with the times,
Part of TRL, if you see a funny viral video, send it to us, TRL@MTV.com.
but it's too little, too late.
It's kind of like, I'll use a metaphor. It's like if you know your partner is attracted to someone else, and then you start dressing like that person in order to keep your partner. It ain't gonna work. And that's basically what started to happen. I think we were one of the first examples of where you can't really actually compete with a completely different beast. That's what social media is.
And when Justin Bieber becomes a global megastar after blowing up on YouTube instead of TRL, it forces MTV to finally accept the irrelevance of its long-running countdown show.
Sebastian Bach, Skid Row.
I don't want to say it outstayed its welcome, but it probably maybe went on a year or two longer than it probably should have.
MTV finally pulls the plug in 2008 after 2,247 episodes, but not without throwing one last party.
And I remember standing there and looking around like I was at a class reunion. And Carson was there, everybody was there.
Hillary Burton,
God, I
one of
miss
our
you.
favorite VJs, is here. It's so good to see you again.
I know, I miss you so much.
I know,
It's good to be
welcome back. Let's get
back.
But it was like, oh my God, this is going away, and it's going away forever. You know, it was like a breakup was happening. And you love this person and you don't want to lose this person, but it's also time to move on.
This is Total Request Live.
Years later, MTV tries to reboot TRL.
Another one.
Another one.
Which one?
They tried to resurrect it, and it just never worked. Because you'll just never get that magic back. Like, it's just not possible.
What was magical about TRL is that it had all of the good parts of social media, all of the connectivity, all of the kindness, all of the enthusiasm. But because it was produced, it cut out the toxic stuff. It cut out the scary stuff. And we don't really have that right now.
Now, things feel a little bit more disposable. There's so much media flying around. Everyone's a content creator, it seems like. It's not the same sort of concentration around a show like TRL, and I don't think it'll ever be like that again.
TRL, MTV was so much a part of our careers that when we got the star on the Walk of Fame, we asked Carson to come be one of the presenters and to speak at the ceremony.
I mean, that's a pretty massive impact on the world to really shape almost a decade of music and what was popular.
I think we made people happy the same way that pop music can make people happy. I'd like to believe that there's still some show out there that can make the world as happy as TRL made the world. I'll let you know if I figure it out.